You're listening to the Clean Comedy Podcast with your host, James Creviston.
Hey, everybody, it's James. Welcome to the Clean Comedy Podcast. And this week, I have a good friend of mine. It's weird because I haven't seen him for a while around. Like, we used to be around all the time. And now he's popping up all over, like, my Instagram, all over my feeds. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's just killing it out there. So I was like, oh, I got to reach out and see what's going on because he's everywhere. So please welcome the very funny, the very talented E.L. Smith. Hey, man, how's it going?
All right, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
I swear to you, I see you everywhere. I'm not kidding. Like, if I scroll through Instagram, it's like you in a suit reading the. It's like there's so many cool things. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, I'm out there, man. Instagram. They're paying for reels now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're paying for.
Wait, how many people do I have to have following me though? I think I have like let's go look. I think I have like 400 people following me or something. It's like not very many, to be honest with you. It's nothing like you. Yeah, 411. 411. Okay. Let's go to yours. We're gonna go look at yours and see what it is. Okay. So this is where we see how terrible James is at promotion. 7,825 followers. Yeah, they're not paying me for anything, buddy.
It's pennies. It's pennies on the dollar. But still, it's something. I actually saw the other day that people who have a little bit more followers than me, I actually got a notification that you can subscribe to their Instagram now for like $5 a month. Yeah. So you can imagine if you had like 100 people paying you $5 a month. I don't know if Instagram gives you the whole $5, but still,
probably not.
So that's
I keep on thinking about doing
social media. Huh?
I keep on thinking about doing that for like a Patreon where I do this podcast on there. Mm-hmm. That's the free thing. So if you just sign up as like $1 a month, just help support the podcast. But like $5, we do like a group thing, or we do behind the scenes, or we do an additional podcast every month, something like that. I keep on thinking about doing that, but I'm like, I feel bad charging anyone for content. Like that just seems weird, right?
It not, I do, but then I don't. Because at the end of the day, it's like, how many people are on this planet? 7 billion people. People can spare $2 if they really. And then I heard someone somewhere say that all you need is really a good 10,000 people who really like you, who really follow you, or who are really down for you. Then you can just walk into some of these places. Because I was just looking at, I'm in Arizona right now, and I was just looking at the paper. Joe Rogan's going to be at the local comedy club here, and it's sold out.
Yeah.
It's sold out just because of that podcast, and people will gladly pay whatever price just to see people that they connect with. So I don't feel that.
See, I don't feel that way. I mean, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm set up co-back comedians. I bumped into Joe Rogan to Calabasas at the Rite Aid, bro. Like that's a legit. Because I live out by there, and I would see him all the time. So I was like,
that's what I'm saying. But there's people who would gladly pay $100, $200, $300, not think twice about wanting to just not even thinking that he's going to be funny or not. Just want to see him, which is it's a crazy concept to me and you, but you'll be surprised. I'm learning that.
Well, I will say that I have paid a lot of money. I paid hundreds of dollars to go see Jerry Seinfeld in Vegas. I used to make that like a annual trip.
Okay.
Because I love watching Seinfeld. To me, it's like watching an engineer and a magician tell jokes, right? Because it's what it is, how he builds it or what it's supposed to look like, but it just always amazes you. Like, so I'm like, okay. Yeah. So, well, the big reason I brought you on is because I saw you have Dry Bar, right? Dry Bar's coming. Mm-hmm. You did Dry Bar?
I did.
Do you know when it's coming?
I do not know when.
They never tell anyone. Don't feel bad.
No. I reached out to them. They had me like critique it, and they said, "Oh, it's coming," but I don't know. But I can't wait on that. So
that's cool. How did that process happen? Because I know let's just say nobody knows you. Let's hear your origin story. Yeah. I know you, but let's hear your origin story and how you got to Dry Bar and stuff. So let's hear that stuff.
All right. So during the pandemic, that's how it starts out.
Every story is like, that's the new Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, during the pandemic, a long time ago, kids gather around. Let me show you about the end times. Yeah. I was at home, but honestly, man, I took a 5 minute clip I had. I listed a bunch of credits, and I just mass email a lot of people. I looked up comedy agents, comedy places, and I just sent out emails, sent out emails, sent out emails, and only a couple of people responded. A college agency responded. This one guy responded. I mentioned the fact that I was clean, and the comedy clip was a clean comedy clip, and all the things that I did. And he's like, "I can get you dry bar," and he got me dry bar. Honestly,
Wow.
that's that
Off a 5 minute clip?
off a 5 minute clip. I mean, I told him I could do longer, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Boss level, dude. Boss. That's crazy because I'm working my set. I've been on the road with Darren Carter. I've been doing lots
Okay.
of stuff. I'm trying to build like a 10 to 15 minute clip to send to them to be like, hey, this is the majority of the material. There's other things, but like,
Mm.
because, in LA, it's hard to get like you're not going to get a 20-25 minute
No,
clip
no, no,
out
not at
of
all.
LA. You're going to get 5-7 minutes, but I have some friends that are like, hey, I can get you 10 minutes here. I can get you 10
Mhm.
minutes there, whatever. I'd be able to go on the road, do 25, 30. So I'm like, I can do it. I'm just trying to get a good, strong clip to send to them so to get that shot. So I keep waiting. I probably have pushed it off more than any person
Okay.
ever. Like everyone else, like I want to do dry bar, and I'm like, I think I'm not ready yet. I don't think. But I have friends that are like, no, you can do it. I'm like, I want
Yeah,
to wait. I don't know why.
yeah, you can do it. Do all the things and do them now. Don't waste, and then just keep it moving. That's how I feel. Like I do that, but I'm looking for the next thing to do, and the next thing to do, and the next thing to do. Just because with comedy, man, sometimes you just need the right person to see you. I know that sounds kind of cliche and like kind of storybook, but honestly, if the right person sees you, then it could just, set you up because I mean, you're funny
Yeah,
and I'm funny, but it's like 100 other funny people. So it's only the people who make decisions and get you into certain places. The only reason those people got there and not you is because they got saw by something. They got seen by
yeah,
somebody. So just put it all out there so people can just see it. You don't know who may see it. And I learned that because when I moved to LA, I did a random show in Ventura and a commercial agent was in the audience. And then I got a commercial agent. Then that's how that stuff works. So people just see it. So yeah, you just gotta put it out there, man.
well, you're a handsome dude. That's not the commercial agent's not gonna look at this face and be like, "Yo, we
Not
should
need a
put him on
haircut, bro.
TV."
No, no,
He's
no, trust me. The roles they have me go out for is not handsome dude. It's a bunch of people in the room that look similar to me, which is really weird. It's like
if there's someone that looks similar to me, I'm gonna feel bad for that person. I'm gonna have to apologize to them. Like, listen, I'm sorry that you look like me. Like,
yeah, exactly, exactly, man. But
no. So, how long ago did you film? When did you film Dry Bar and stuff? Was it during the pandemic?
it was right. I think it was in April. It was April 2021.
Okay,
So yeah, it's been a while. So it's right when things are starting to try to come back.
right.
So they didn't have the full room. They said it was full, but they had the seats like 6 feet apart, like the table 6 feet apart. So it wasn't really that full. But and everybody was kind of, coming back to things. But then it was Utah too. So nobody really cared about
Yeah.
mask and all that stuff. Um so that's when I filmed it and it was good. A lady was on the show and then a guy, I'm not guy, but Kevin Farley, which is Chris Farley's brother.
Oh yeah, his special's out though.
Yeah, his special his special
I'm
dropped. So
like, I just saw it just came on my feed the other day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we all filmed the same night,
Wow.
2 shows. Was it 2 nights? No, two
Yeah, usually
shows, one night, and then they're supposed to edit it up and then you know put it out there. So we'll see, we'll see. But
that's awesome. That's so cool, man. I'm so excited for you. So you could still use the Dry Bar thing in your promotions, even though the Dry Bar's not out yet. Correct?
yeah, yeah, because I
It's
did
there.
film a dry bar special, so it's not it's
Yeah.
not that I'm lying. Like, is it out? You get too detailed, but I, I filmed it. I filmed it, but that helps. Also, when I say about putting stuff out like that, because I'm from Florida. One time I was in this is a couple of years ago, but I did a show in Florida, and this lady who books for cruise lines just happened to be in the audience, and she she literally came up to me and she was like, "Oh, do you have a cruise ship agent?" I was like, "No," and she put me in contact with a cruise ship agent who knew her, and then they just started just booking me like on ships and stuff like that. And they said, "Oh, you got to be clean," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can do that," because that's another thing I think is important, just to be a clean comedian,
Yeah.
just in general, because you just get so much more opportunities. Like a clean comedy comedian can do like a dirty room, but a dirty comedian can't do a clean room no matter
Yeah.
what. So yeah,
Yeah. I was always told you can dirty up clean, but you can't clean up dirty. Like that's the,
exactly,
you
exactly.
know,
And I just I just got off a ship. Um, uh, and it was an older crowd. It was to say the least. It was an older crowd. It came out of Seattle, so they shipped out of Seattle. So it was that type of crowd, those type of people, and he had to be. It was like 8-year-old kids in the audience.
oh wow. Okay.
So let me just put it in perspective for how clean you gotta be. And then
Yeah.
older people, like 85-year-old people, were coming up to you like, "Oh, you're funny," and all right, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
That's so funny. That's the thing is I try to tell comedians, especially new comedians starting out, like just start clean. You can
Yeah,
always add stuff later, but if you start clean, it opens so many doors and so many opportunities for you that you might not be able to do. You could be getting paid faster
yeah,
if you're starting clean because people will pay for that. Like I'm flying to Florida in December to do a private gig. I'm clean. They know I'm not going to offend. It's an older crowd.
yeah.
It's a birthday party. They do want some roasting, so I'm going to write some roast jokes stuff. But you can write clean roast jokes too, and they're excited. I get to go do a lot of stuff because people go, "Oh, you're clean, awesome. We need X, Y, and Z."
Exactly,
So I might even
exactly.
get to go do Branson, Missouri. I've never been to Branson, Missouri. We're negotiating it right now. We'll see how it goes. I've heard it's amazing. I heard it's like the Las Vegas of the Midwest. So we'll see how that works out. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. I've never been there, so I'm
I
excited.
don't know if
It's
that's a selling point, but all right.
what's funny is there was that TV show Vegas that was like big for a while that had
Mhm,
like I think it was like Timothy Oliphant or maybe it was the other guy that liked Timothy Oliphant.
okay.
Anyways, and James Caan and a bunch of people like it was about Vegas and whatever. And so I was kidding around one day and I was like, oh, someone should just make a show called Branson because I had always heard that was like the Vegas. And I'm like, I wonder how that would be. It'd be like Dallas meets Vegas.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna go there and find out. And if it is, I'm writing the pilot for Branson. I just want you to know that right
Got
now.
it. All right, all right. Yeah, no, that's congratulations on that too, man, as well, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, being clean is definitely important, and that's just how I came up in comedy. Because in college, I went to open mic, got the chance like to host locally at a local
Oh yeah.
comedy club, and they always wanted you to be clean. Just because the headliner would complain if you were like dirty or you
Yeah.
said things though you talked about things in the news that he couldn't talk about now because you talked about it. So I just came up always just having to, put that pressure on of just being like more on the cleaner side and not offending people,
Yeah.
making jokes. And you could talk about people in the audience, but keep it like very vague, very don't like single people out. Like this guy has an eye patch,
Yeah.
he knows that. Like I was on a show one time and a guy, it was only like maybe I don't know, 4 people in the audience, and one guy happened to have an eye patch. Why would you talk about him? Like, because if you
Yeah.
just up and leave, now you have to have an audience. Just like just do your material. Like, so I just came up just just being on the cleaner side, and it worked out though. So I like it, and I try to strive for that. Like I went to a couple of roast battles, like at the Comedy Store and stuff
I
like that,
love those, by the way.
just to watch them, and I was like, I can't do that. That's not me. I can't.
Here's the thing. I want to do it. It's not me, but I want to do it because it just looks like so much fun. Like,
Yeah,
and I want to do it with a friend, like someone that I know that we love each other and that like we're friends and we can just roast and be like, have so much fun saying crazy stuff. The crazy stuff you say to your friends sometimes. You're
yeah,
like,
that's
you look
true.
like this, or you do this, or whatever. And just like have fun with that. But I feel like, man, it's
Yeah, that's
tough.
just that my style. It was a freedom. I tell you, the times that I went, I don't know if you went, but it seems like the type of comedy show that it would be like in hell.
Yeah.
Like if hell had a comedy room, because it's already a comedy store. It's already red and black, and it's in this small enclosure, and they had like a designated guy in the side called like the designated racist, and he was
Yeah.
saying funny things, but I was like, yeah,
Welcome to Satan's Comedy Club. Time
yeah,
to roast.
yeah, yeah.
Twice. You're gonna roast twice here on stage and later on.
That's the type of vibe I got. I'm like, yeah.
That's hilarious. That's a great bit. That's funny. You should use that.
Just, man,
It's so funny, man. So I see you everywhere. Literally, you're like Laugh Factory, like all over the place.
Mm.
What is like your biggest advice for comedians who are trying to be on more shows and stuff? 'Cause I see you everywhere. Seriously, I'm not kidding. If I scroll through your Instagram, you're in every single club I ever want to work, like all the time.
I
I'm never in
appreciate
any of those
it.
clubs. They're like, no, James, please leave.
No, I'm trying. I'm trying. Trust me. I would say, man, just be. I guess just be persistent. Almost just like almost. I hate to say crackheadish, but
Hey,
almost
man,
like you know,
you
like a
got a show I
crackhead.
could be on.
Like they
Got a
have no
show.
money, they have no job, but they're gonna figure out how to get crack. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just gonna you gotta just be persistent, just be nice to everyone also too.
Yeah.
Um, don't worry about everybody else, I would say. Just focus on yourself and just focus on yourself, just being the best version of yourself you can be because you're not gonna stop people from being funny, or you're not gonna stop people. It may be people out there just funnier than you. Um, at the end of the day, you can't stop that. All you can do is just be the best version of yourself, and then outwork. That's one thing you can do. You can outwork everybody else. Just put in the work that other people are not willing to put in,
Yeah.
and just keep going. Be persistent, and then when you get the opportunity, man, just knock it out the park, man. Just knock
Yeah.
it out the park. So
Dude, I love that. That's such amazing advice too. Because I think a lot of people, we've all heard the Kevin Hart thing. Like everybody wants to be famous, nobody wants to put in the work type thing.
yeah, no, he's exactly right. He's exactly right. I listened to his book on Audible, and he's narrating the book itself, and it's like 13 hours, and it's him talking, and it's a really good book because he tells from the basically he tells from the time that he was born to where he is now. So he doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily tell you do this, do that, do this, but he gives you a blueprint of things that he did and how he worked at it, and the progression he had like a lot of setbacks too, like a lot of things to be like that will make you want to quit doing stand up comedy. So
Is that the book where he talks about like um dang it, Patrice O'Neill, like making him sit in other booths and stuff and like
yeah,
ripping
yeah,
into him, and like he was going by like Little Kev and whatever and stuff like
yeah.
that.
No,
Like,
that's the book. He
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
traveling from Philly to New York just to
Yeah,
set at the Comedy Cellar. So
yeah.
yeah, this
And
is
then
a
they would like just roast him afterwards, like for an hour. They would just like roast him about what I was like,
exactly,
man, that's great.
exactly.
But that's the thing is, that's the love that's how comedians show love. Like we roast each other, we make fun of each other, or whatever. So I
That's
think
true.
that's why roast battle got big too, though.
Yeah, no, no, it's true, and it's funny. It's funny stuff.
No,
Don't
no,
don't
for
get me
sure.
wrong. It's just not my style. It's just not my style. Yeah. And then
So
no, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say just know your style, and then I will also say, which I'm trying to do, is just find who you are, like sets yourself apart from everybody else. Almost like your whole who are you? Because everybody has. It's only like I don't know 10 or 12 topics that people mostly joke about, and then
Right.
comedy clubs and bookers they heard those same topics different ways, but those same topics. So if you can find different topics that no one's talking about, it'll just propel you just a little bit more faster. Just because, like, look at what's the guy Chris? I think I'm saying his last name right. Estrada. He has a show on Hulu now that's coming out. He's an
Okay.
LA comedian, and he had like a different type of style. He's like a Mexican comedian. He always say you fool," like like that Mexican. But now he has a show, and congrats to him though. So
I mean, that's the thing is you have to hustle. Like I'm mostly focused on the writing portion, so that's where I'm like pushing a lot. But I want to do stand up, and I feel like that stand up piece will also help open up more doors of saying,
no, it definitely
okay,
will.
he's a stand up, he's a writer, he's a podcaster, he can do this. Like yeah, I feel like people would take that more. Like a manager or an agent would look at that and go, okay, there's a lot I can make money off of right here,
Exactly.
off of this person. And I know that that's the goal, right? They have to make money off of us. We
Yeah.
also want to make money. So I'm trying to like put together that good package to get everybody. Now, you do a lot of cruises. What's your favorite cruise? Like it could be location, or you don't have to say the cruise line necessarily, but like what routes is your favorite cruise route to do?
um, I enjoy, believe it or not, I enjoy going to Alaska.
Really?
I've never been, so it
Okay.
was cool to see ice in the water and glaciers, and that whole vibe, that whole feel, and just get to see like Alaska. Because what I thought about Alaska is not the reality. It's a real place.
Yeah.
I thought it was like bears, forests, dirt roads, like, just, but people wearing the overcoats with but no, it's a real place, real people, and they have a McDonald's and all that type of stuff. So I was surprised. I mean, I like the Caribbean too as well, but I'm from Florida, so beaches, palm trees.
You've
I've
been
seen
there.
that before, so
Yeah,
I've been there, done that. So yeah,
that's funny. David Studebaker and I went and did 2 shows in Fairbanks, Alaska, which is
okay.
the northeastern part of Alaska. So they're like
Mhm,
we're like 200 miles away from like Canada, the Canadian border and stuff. So we
okay.
went up there and did shows. Same thing. I'm thinking like parkas, bears, snow everywhere.
Yeah.
No, we went like June time frame, so it was
Okay.
hot. It was the like
Yeah.
22 hours of sunlight during the day.
That's the way. Yeah.
That was wrecked when I got back from that. And everyone was super cool, except for they didn't like my bear joke. I had a bear joke that I do that kills everywhere else, died in Alaska. They did
Damn.
not like it at all.
They
And I
didn't
was
like
like,
it.
oh, they
All
hated it, bro.
the bears in the audience didn't like it.
Well, I guess, okay, so that part of Alaska I went to, anyone who's listened to the podcast will know the story. Apparently, that part of Alaska is like a Bermuda Triangle of Alaska, where
Mm.
like there's 3 parts like that connect, and people just randomly go missing sometimes out there, and it could be due to bears.
Oh
So I
wow.
have a joke about me being eaten by bears as like how I want to
Mhm.
go out when I die, and they did not like that at all, at all. I was like, okay, all right, well, but I
That's
mean,
funny.
I did that joke in Texas, like, was it 2 weeks ago when I was at Darren Carter? I did that joke and it was fine.
Yeah.
And then after the joke, I told them like, look, this joke didn't work in Alaska, and I like tell them the story, and they laugh even harder because they're like, yeah, of course you idiot, like, of course they're not gonna
Exactly.
laugh at that, right? Me, I'm thinking I'm a genius. I have a joke just for Alaska, and they're like, no, you don't. No, you
Nah,
don't.
that's funny. That's funny. Comedy is suggestive, right? Some people may like things, and some people may not like certain things. But again, there's enough people out there to laugh at what you're saying. So
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that's what I find a lot of people laugh at stuff, and we all have similar. While we may even not even be the same race, color, creed, religion, any stuff. We have a
mhm,
lot of similar experiences in life that come
yeah,
through pretty well. So when you talk about family or kids, that's why people talk about those things, right? Family,
yeah,
kids, relationships, food, all that kind of
mhm,
stuff, because we can all relate to it. Even if you've never been on a vacation, you can talk about a hotel and people understand what hotels are. Even if you've never been in a hotel, you know the idea. We've seen enough TV, we've seen enough
yeah.
movies, we understand that stuff. So that I love when people, I don't know if you've had this, where comedians go, well, I can't talk about that because you've talked about that. It's like that's not how that works.
No, no, not with comedy, man. Because like it's so many things that and also the topics that comedians talk about, they're going to intertwine because we experience things and we're always looking for material. Like I have a joke about alligators doing drugs, right? And then somebody came to me one time and was like, "Oh man, you wouldn't believe somebody stole your joke. I sold your joke." And then I was on a show with this guy like a couple of months later, and he had like a joke about alligators doing drugs, but it was nothing like mines. But
Right.
it's such a unique topic that you would think that, like, and honestly, I don't even care. Like, I put my material online, I put it on Instagram because if somebody takes it and, like, I don't know, like Kansas, Missouri, they can have it because I'm continuously writing and because I'm trying to just put out as much content as possible because you see and I see that you have a lot of people who are like YouTubers or just on Instagram, and they put out outrageous like content, and now all of a sudden they're getting booked at comedy clubs or they're getting booked here and they're getting booked there, and they're not necessarily even really comedians, but
Yep.
because they have 1 million, 2 million followers, they have that. And that's what I'm saying. Just need people to see you. If you can get 10,000 people to just be down with whatever you're doing, then you have yourself a business. Then comedy is your business, and you could just grow it from that. So
That's awesome. Do you besides comedy, do you do anything else? Are you a writer? Do you do podcasts? I know you do all the clips and stuff. You do some funny clips online, but have you thought about podcasting or writing or something like that?
I'm trying to get into podcasting. I'm definitely writing. I'm definitely writing. That's the main goal, believe it or not. The goal is to be like a writer for like late night or a sitcom, mostly late night, but just be like a writer because First of all, that's a steady paycheck.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it
And
is.
it's a good paycheck. And then it allows you to still do stand up if you choose. Like you're not doing stand up because you have to. You're doing it because you want to. Like I knew this guy, he's a comedian when I was coming up and doing comedy. And stand up comedy was his only job. But he had to travel like, I don't know, 200 days out the year. And that doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun at all. So no, definitely writing, definitely writing. So I do some writing. I'm trying to do a podcast. I'm just trying to build up a fan base, or just build up a base of people. So
That's smart. So if you haven't, I would check out Jerry Corley. He has a great late night writing comedy class that I took.
okay,
That's amazing. Teaches you how to write monologue jokes, all that kind of stuff. And he
Jerry
wrote
Corley.
for the
Okay,
Tonight Show, yeah. And then there's a book by Joe Toplin called Comedy Writing for Late Night TV. I'll send you the information in the email. I'll
okay,
just email you and stuff. But like anybody who's interested in that, I I also, as part of my writing thing, I have written monologue jokes for podcast and news comedy podcast, stuff like that,
mhm,
and done that. So that's how I learned how to do it. It was Jerry Corley's course, and then this book by Joe Toplin, and it was like
okay,
changed a lot of stuff. And you know, I do produce a lot of other podcasts. I write for a lot of other podcasts, but one of them I write for consistently, or I end up writing for, is a news comedy podcast. So I have to learn how to write a monologue joke. So I'm writing 20, 30, 40 monologue jokes every single week that are these new style jokes, more
mhm,
like SNL weekend updates type stuff, but like they're still
yeah,
considered monologue jokes, and writing those every week. So I get better at that, even though it's not my cup of tea. Like it's not the thing that I enjoy doing. So, but those are some good, and I'll shoot them over to you. But
oh yeah, yeah, definitely do, yeah.
that'd be cool. Actually, you in the suit doing monologue jokes would be awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would watch the heck out of that show. I'm
watching the
not gonna lie to you.
watching the show, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would.
I hope so, man. I hope so. That's the goal. But you know, I think it's gonna be the first black like late night major talk show host? I think it's gonna be Michael Che. I'm calling.
I was about to say that too. Michael Che is made to be a late night talk show host, but here's the thing: he has to do it at the desk the whole time. I don't want to see him stand up out and
Yeah,
do the thing. I want to see the desk because he gets cocky. He'll like lean back and tell the joke, and then look at you, and then look at you, and then look at the camera like, now laugh, and you're like,
yeah,
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 I'm
yeah.
gonna laugh, dude. Like I got it. His stand up's good, but his monologues are better. I think he's a better
Yeah,
monologue writer
Weekend
than he is.
Update is pretty funny.
Oh
Weekend
my
Update is
gosh.
pretty funny.
I still
Yeah.
watch it. I don't watch SNL, but I will watch Weekend Update every single week that it comes out because him and Colin Jost, that should just be a show by itself. Listen, NBC, make that a show by itself. But here's the thing: nobody's gonna tune into SNL after that because it just has. It's like, okay, it's okay. But
That's true. That's true. Nah, they're definitely funny. The chemistry is definitely there. So
I
no.
like when they switch jokes. When they do the switch jokes, they have to tell each other's jokes because
Yeah.
Jost always gets the worst end of those jokes, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're like, I feel so bad for you, bro. Like I don't know.
That's the
No one's
funny
gonna see
part.
yeah.
That's the funny part. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the cringiest part. So where are you going to be at in the next couple of weeks, couple months? Like, are you doing more cruises? Are you going to be LA, New York, whatever? Like, where are you going to be at?
I have a show this Saturday in Santa Monica in LA. I'm gonna
Okay.
post it probably today. I think it's called Crow Comedy or something like that. It's a new comedy club that opened up down there.
Nice.
And in September, I'm jumping back on a ship for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm doing that in September. And honestly, I'm just probably just trying to get into some more clubs and then trying to get into some more local clubs in LA, which is a process in itself.
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh, I'll probably be at the Haha in North Hollywood sometime soon,
I've
which would
only
be
ever done their open mic. Is their club night? I've never got to do the club. I've never been booked
the
there.
club is cool. The club is cool. I consider it up there with the store and the Laugh Factory as far as the people they have on shows, the people they
Wow.
have on shows. The shows that they have there, the people that they have on there.
Yeah.
It took a while to 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 fandango my way inside it.
What was your process for getting in there? Like, what did you have to do? Because I did open mics there before, I said, but I've never done any shows there ever.
Man, you just got so I wouldn't do the open mic. I mean, do open mics, but just be strategic about it. I just,
Right.
I reach out to their, Jack Jr. about doing a show. Did a show there a couple of times. But honestly, man, because it was so close, it was the closest comedy club to where I was living. I would just hang out there sometimes.
Okay.
and then just try to get a guest set. Or I use this tactic that I use with all
Secrets.
comedy clubs. That I basically say, "Oh man, I have people coming in from out of town. Like I have 10, 15 people coming to see me. Can I get a date?" That just I don't have anybody coming. I just flat out like, "Oh man, my family's coming or my mom is coming." And then once they see you, it's like, "Okay, we'll start booking you." So they
Yeah.
just that's what I'm saying. They just need to see you. So one time I was there and the lady, she just happens to all the times I did the show there, this one night she just happened to see me. Just happened to see me do it. And it's like, "Oh, you're funny." And then after that, she, I can reach out and then she's like, "Oh, I have this date," or she'll book me on this date. That's only because she saw me though. So you
That's
just got to
awesome.
get people just to see you. So I use that tactic sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But hey,
Has it ever backfired on you? Where like you get to the show and there's like 4 people, and they're like, "What happened to your 15 people?"
no, it hasn't. It hasn't backfired. Not yet. Knock on wood. It hasn't backfired yet. But
That would be my biggest fear. I'd be like, "What if there's only 4 people?" And they're like, "Hey, James, you said you're gonna be like 15 people." I'm like, "Everybody got COVID, right?" Now you can be like, "Everybody got COVID."
you
Like,
can say that. You can say that. But it hasn't backfired yet. I don't use that tactic as much as anymore because some of these places I could just say, just ask for a date. But no, it hasn't backfired yet. It hasn't backfired yet. And then I'm like I said, I make a point to be nice just to
yeah,
everybody, like the door people and just anybody. I have a cool story about the Laugh Factory too as well.
all right,
Um, I was just, always I would hang out there sometimes, but I was always just cool with the door people, nice with the door people. And one day I get a text from one of the door people saying, "Can you be here in 10 minutes? Because somebody's showing like running late." I
oh
live
dang,
25, I live 25 minutes away. I said, of course I said yes.
of course,
So I jump in the car, I speed race, I get there. Of course, I don't get there in 10 minutes, but the door guy introduced me to the assistant manager that night that never met me, never saw me, but she saw my Instagram because he showed her my Instagram. And she was like, "Okay, if he can get here in 10 minutes." So she never met me, never seen me do comedy, but she saw my Instagram. So I get there, I give her this sob story about, how I live so far away and I came here and oh man, woe is me, woe is me. And she's like, "Well, are you gonna hang out?" And I'm like, "Well, since I'm here, I'm gonna hang out." So I hung out the whole night. That was like around 7 something. So I hung out the whole night. I hung out for the second show. Really cool, just, thankful that I even almost had the opportunity. And I was like, next time. And so something happened. One of the comedians, one of their regulars just left or didn't want to stay or something like that. Didn't want to stay that late. And so the assistant manager comes up to me around 11 o'clock at night. Mind you, I got there at 7. She saw I was still hanging out there the whole night. She came up to me at 11 o'clock at night. She's like, "Do you still want to go up? Because somebody left." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so I go up. I go up right after like Dane Cook, right?
dang,
Yeah. So like I'm the last person up. And like the host didn't even know who I was. Because he was almost hesitant. He like, because he had his friend there. He was trying to get his friend to get that spot. But the girl's like, "Oh, this guy's been here 5 hours. At least give him this spot." So that's how I kind of got it. So I go up and man, it was a packed crowd Friday night, Hollywood, and it just went great.
nice,
It went great. It went great to
yeah,
the point people wanted to take pictures. Wanted to take pictures with me. And all this time, like this is happening. The manager was there and he saw it. And so he saw people want to take pictures with me and he saw people like asking questions. And then after that, he gave me his number and he's like, "All right, you can text me." So
oh dang,
that's how that happened. That's all that's how that happened. So,
that's
but
awesome.
I'm trying to get more spots there, but it's hit and miss sometimes. So
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with LA, right? It's
yeah,
so packed. There's so many comedians. There's only so much stage time. Only so many clubs. Only so many places you can go. That's just that's fantastic. Man. I love that. I love the hustle because that is where I am 100% all about the hustle.
yeah,
That's why I've got like a million irons in the fire. You right now are focused mostly on stand up, which is smart. And I need to go back to. I haven't been as focused on stand up as I need to be, but I'm pushing back that way. Like, okay, let's do this. Let's keep going.
exactly.
Whatever. I mean, I've been writing. I'm constantly writing jokes. I think I always write at least one joke a day. But I'm usually, maybe I'll write another minute or two of new material. I just
Mhm.
wrote a whole bit about Vacation Bible School and stuff like that. Well, because like I was telling my wife, I was like, certain things out there that people, they use the words incorrectly, like Vacation Bible School. There was no vacation, man. That was not a vacation. There was Bible school. There was all Bible school, but no
It's funny.
vacation.
Yeah.
So
No,
so we're talking about that, like how there's different words out there that people use for different stuff. I forgot what the other part of that is, but like we're just so funny because I like went off on something. Where is it?
that's a unique topic too. That's why I laugh because I don't think I ever heard a joke about Vacation Bible School. So like
Yeah.
I like Hannibal Burris for that reason because he has a joke about pickle juice or something
Yeah,
like
I love
something.
the pickle juice joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm always constantly trying to find things. Sometimes I get in the trap of talking about things that everybody else is talking about, but I'm
Yeah.
always trying to think about things outside of what everybody else is talking about, which is hard. But I'm trying to do that more myself. So, um,
I have a pickle juice joke that I've worked on, but it's not the same as Hannibal. I was talking about because my daughters do sports, and so we always get them like Gatorades and stuff or whatever. And I was like, when I was a kid, we were so poor. Pickle juice was our Gatorade. Like that's how poor we were, and it works. It does work. If you don't believe me,
yeah.
there are rednecks out there doing all kinds of work just off of pickle juice. Like that's how it works, man. And what? So I made my youngest daughter drink pickle juice one time. I was like, "Look, you should do this. This is what I did." And she was like, "This is disgusting. I'm glad that we're not poor." And I was like, "Wow, that's an insult to me." Like I really felt bad about myself that
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
that poor. I had to use pickle juice instead of Gatorade and stuff. I'm like, we didn't even use Powerade, which is ghetto Gatorade. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah.
use
Powerade.
pickle juice. That's redneck Gatorade. It's so wild. So it's just they're crazy. But
Yeah,
that's the thing is it comes from like a little idea and you just like keep working on it and stuff and you build up stuff like that. Joke's obviously that's not the joke, but there's
yeah,
pieces of that in there that I've been working on trying to get there. It just
yeah.
takes time of working on that.
Nah,
Well, it's
it
one little
definitely
idea.
does. It definitely does. Like I have a new one that I'm working on. And I don't know. I think about this topic. I said somebody has to say this topic before. So I'm not sure is this is very unique, but I was just in Texas not too long ago and I was with these people and they wanted to go like to a haunted house type thing. And I was telling them like how I'm not cool with that. I'm not down with that. Like a house that's built in the 1800s. It's not because I'm afraid of ghosts. Is that I'm afraid that the ghosts might be racist. Like, so, like,
Hey boy, hey boy. You're like, oh hell no, I'm out of here. I'm
yeah,
out. I'm out.
yeah. Like, I'm not gonna haunt y'all if he gonna be in here. Like, he need to
Yeah.
leave. Like, sir, you cannot say that to me anymore. This is 2022. Like,
He's like,
I paid my fare like everybody else. Like, you can't. You look crazy, man. I come to that. If you scroll through Twitter, if you just take yourself out of Twitter and just scroll through it, you be like, people are crazy. They're crazy. They're beyond crazy. It is crazy out there. But there's so many people out here that people are going to be crazy. Like today, I was driving. I saw a homeless guy take something. He tried to cross the street. It was a truck making a left turn. He stayed in the middle of the road, and finally the truck was able to pass. He took whatever he had in his cup and just threw it at the truck.
oh,
And
no,
it was
thank you.
like, yeah.
Well, okay. If you go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice, just one piece of advice to for your comedy career, what would that one piece be?
Oh man, move to California or New York earlier.
Really,
Yeah,
really.
just go. Like, don't live in fear. Go. Like, I started comedy in Tallahassee, Florida, and of course, I went to school, I went to college, but then I always, had that college's backup plan, and like, oh, I'm gonna do comedy, but I didn't really dive into it because it was no opportunities. First of all, like where I was living, just as far as like doing open mics or doing some random local shows.
Right.
But I just look at myself as like if I would have just moved out there, you know, and just jumped in head first. Because I'll tell you a crazy story. It's not even that crazy, but when I started doing comedy, um, I met Roy Wood Jr. And
Oh,
yeah, I met him while he was still in college.
oh,
Like,
dang.
yeah, wow. But he was, he was older than me, but he was like so serious with it, like really serious with comedy, like always writing. I was on open mic. I went to open mics with him. So
Wow.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And like he left, that 1 year I knew him, and he just started doing the road, and then he just dove in head first. He has a crazy story he told me one time that he skipped all his final exams in college to get on a bus to go from Tallahassee to Alabama, because he's from Alabama, to open up for Tommy Davidson for free.
Oh,
That's
dang.
that's was his dedication. And like I knew him, but in the back of my head, I was like, nobody from Tallahassee, Florida is gonna do anything big in any, like in comedy and stuff like that. And I know him now to a certain degree, but not like I knew him back then. And I kind of like let that relationship like die down. So I wish I would just, grow and keep, the relationships I have. Like I make a point now to like make sure I talk to people, I keep the relationships I have, but also if I can give myself advice, just just do it. Don't wait on anybody, and don't listen to other people's advice. I would probably say that's another thing about advice. Don't listen to other people's advice because they'll tell you stuff. I used to have comedy bookers tell me, man, oh, don't move to LA or don't move to New York unless you're ready and stuff like that. Man, just go. Just go, do it. If you fall, keep going. Just do it because you got to remember, people say, oh, you need 10 years in comedy to be this, or 12 years. Eddie Murphy was Eddie Murphy at 22.
Yeah.
So don't listen to people's advice. Just do it. That's how I feel.
And I own both of those specials. Those are, and I own his album Comedian. Eddie Murphy was a
Yeah.
classic. Now he couldn't do half of the bits he does,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
back then that was everything. And him and Chris Rock were my biggest inspirations. I would, when I started comedy, I would strut the stage. I don't know if you
Really.
remember seeing me ever do it, but I would strut the stage like they
Okay.
used to do, because that's what I watched. That's what I grew up on, was
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock, and that's what they would do. And I had a leather jacket, and I would like, and okay, a clean comedian in a leather jacket strutting stage is not the same as Chris Rock or Eddie Murphy, because we're not telling the same kind of jokes. You don't
That's
need to
true.
be aggressive when you talk about your family. Like, Chris Rock's out there like, Daddy never gets the pork chop, and you're like, okay, that's great. And I'm like, my kids don't respect me, like it's not the same thing.
It's
That's not
not
the
the same
same.
thing. And I got a great Chris Rock story too that I read somewhere too, man. He was at the Comedy Strip in New York, and he this is the same comedy club that founded like Eddie Murphy, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Never got up. They never gave him like any opportunities. He wasn't getting up. He would just hang out there. And I hear this story that he was supposed to go do this comedy show somewhere else, but he decided to hang out there that night, right? So he's hanging out at the Comedy Strip, right? And lo and behold, who walks through the door? Eddie Murphy.
Oh, dang.
Eddie Murphy comes to the door. Eddie Murphy sits in the back and he's just watching the show, right? He just came to just hang out because he used to play there, watching the show, watching the show, watching the show, and he goes up to the booker, the owner or whatever, the booker owner, whatever. He's like, "Oh man, you guys don't have any." Basically, he's like, "You guys don't have any black acts, any urban?" Because he didn't see anybody, like a woman or
Right.
anything. And he's like, "Oh," so they scramble trying to find somebody. So they're trying to find somebody, and they just put up Chris Rock, and Eddie Murphy sees him, and then next thing you know, Chris Rock is in Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills Cop 2 small part, and he took that small opportunity and he just snowballed that into what you have today. And he's serious with comedy too. So he puts in the work to where he's Chris Rock now. But if Chris Rock wasn't even getting spots, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not
That's
getting spots, you can't necessarily look at it like, oh, I'm not funny, or oh, it's this and that. It's just the right person just needs to see you. And to get the most people to see you is just you just gotta constantly just keep putting stuff out and just keep doing it and just be serious about it more so than most people. Because if you look at Chris Rock, he takes 2, maybe 3 years before he comes out with a special.
Mhm.
He writes stuff out, he practices it, A lot of other comedians, I hate to see it, once they get big, they'll put out a special like every other year or every year, and it's like almost like just a money grab. Like they just,
Yeah.
they know it's a big paycheck associated at the end of that comedy special. So, but like Chris Rock, he really puts in the work. So just put in the work, man, and just keep putting stuff out. So
Yeah. No, that's great about, and that's the thing, is that's why I keep pushing myself off for Dry Bar, because like
yeah.
I know this is a weird way to think about it. Maybe I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but I was thinking, what if this is my only special, the only one I ever
Mhm.
get to put out of my life, right? This is it. There's no others. I don't get to do any. How do I want that to be? How do I want people to see that 10 years from now, 5 years from now, for whatever? say, hey, you did a special. It was okay. It was okay, right? I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that was amazing. I wish you would have done more, or man, I couldn't wait to see your next special. It sucks you didn't get one, but I don't ever want to be like, yeah, it was okay. Like you were funny, but whatever.
You got to do it, man. You got to do it.
I know fear holds me back, man. I'm not you. I'm not fearless. I can't. I'm not. I'm not.
You got to do it because we all seen comedy specials where we like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah,
literally. So I mean, trust me. Whatever you put out is not going to be that because literally, there's a person out there who used to smash watermelons for comedy.
He still does. I think there's like Gallagher 2 now and stuff. Like he's still out there.
So whatever you do is not gonna be Andy Dick. So don't worry about it.
Wow.
I can say that with confidence because our homecoming, I went to FSU and our homecoming, they have a famous comedian every time. They had like Dave Chappelle one time. They had Cedric the Entertainer. They had Andy Dick one time. He was the only comedian that they booed off the stage.
Wow.
Yes. Yeesh. So
I've never been booed. I've had the but I've never been booed. But that was I know where that goes and I know where it comes from. It's from a joke. Like
I don't think people boo anymore though. I hope though. Yeah, because I've never been booed, but I've been stared at, which I think is worse than boos. When you just like, oh man, this is my best one, and people are just looking at you.
I've never had anyone do the arm. Have you ever anyone do the arm cross thing to you? I've seen it done to people. I've never had it done to me. Luckily.
No, I haven't never had that done. Because I know if I'm going into a situation where that might be a possibility, then I take the show like 10 times more serious. Yeah. Like I've done a couple of chocolate sundae shows, and I take it. I think it's you look at me, you think I'm studying for an exam. Like I think
urban crowds do not mess around. If you're a white comedian, they're not going to give you an inch, man. They're not. I mean, they just don't. And like I don't know. You guys go watch Old Def Comedy Jam. Go watch Bernie Mac's thing where he goes out there and his famous "I ain't scared of you." Like that. That's legit. Listen. This is where race comes in. White people will politely clap at both stuff.
That's okay. The thing, yeah.
He did a good job. He came out here. He tried hard. No, not an urban crowd. No,
they're like, man, I paid $11.95. You better get $11.95 worth of jokes. Don't come here with $11.90. Don't come here with $10 worth. You better give me exactly what I paid for. And the thing with Bernie Mac is they say the comedian before him got booed off the stage.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get the crowd under control. Like Martin Lawrence came out there and they couldn't. So they just told Bernie Mac to go. And that's when he came out there and said, I'm not scared. Yeah. So it's definitely, it builds up your confidence too. Cause you got to be like super confident in yourself to like go in front of a crowd like that and just be like, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to say. And I'm not scared. I don't care what you... Comedy in general, though, you can't care what people say. Like when you did your bear joke, you can't really care. You know it's funny. You know who you are. Everybody's not going to like you. So who cares? Like, you only live once. So just do it.
I need you to like be my manager or my coach or something. Because I did that joke. I left stage and I was shook afterwards. I was like, oh, I suck at comedy. Like, I am terrible at this. Why am I doing this? And my buddy who was with me, David Studebaker, was like, no, they just didn't like that joke. And I was like, that joke works everywhere. He's like, apparently not Alaska. And I was like, apparently not Alaska. So like we laugh about it now, but in that moment, man, I was like, oh, I'm done. Like I'm gonna quit now. Like this is terrible. I can't believe that just happened. A joke that I know works. I've done 100 times. No, so it's wild.
Can't care. We can't care. Man. They get an experience. They get to see James, you, and how you do comedy, and what they're never gonna see anybody else like you, no matter what happens in life. If it's funny or not, they're getting something. This is how I feel. They're getting something that they will never ever see ever again. They get to see you be you. It's so many people on this planet. Like I said, 70 billion people on this planet, and no one's gonna do anything exactly how you do it. So they're getting an experience that they'll never see ever in life again. That's how I see it. So,
dang. And on that note, that's the end of that because that is there's no better advice. Where can everyone find you? Where can they track down your stuff? Where can they see where you're going to be at? All that kind of stuff.
EL Smith Comedy. So if you Google just EL Smith Comedy, all that'll come up. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, website, just schedule everything you'll see, and just reach out, follow me, I'll follow you back, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah, and there's a link tree. I'll put the link tree in the show notes, so it's all out there, so you can just get to everything quickly and stuff.
Exactly.
And it's I hope we run into each other back in LA again. Let's talk some more, because I think we need to get reacquainted, because there's that's, you have motivated me. Like, honestly, I don't know if anyone else listens to this. If you don't listen to this and you're not motivated, something's wrong with you. Like, you really need to reflect on your life choices. But after this, I am very much more motivated to, like, let's get this popping. I'm rethinking, like, oh, maybe I should get ready to submit something to the.
Yeah, man, you gotta do it. Just put it all out there, man, and just go from there, and just constantly just keep moving. Because I'll tell you this, and I end it with this: when people see that you're focused and you're going to do something with it, with or without their help, they're more likely to jump in, like agencies and stuff like that. Because like you say, you do the writing, you got the podcast, you're getting back into stand up. People say that he's already pushing the envelope. Like, they want people who are more so believe in themselves and they believe in them. Like, so they want somebody who's going to really push and just go for it and just put out that stuff, because they want to see that you're going to put in the same type of work that they're going to give you. So,
and that's the thing, is the podcast itself is in the, like, top 30 of stand-up comedy podcast in all the charts and stuff. I think it's, it keeps going up, and whatever. So that's the
dope.
crazy part about it, is it just is there. It's been in the hundreds and 200s for comedy interviews. It's been at over 100 before, and it's just like it's been there. We're in the top 2.5% of all podcasts, which is even amazing. Rogan is 0.001%, right? He's like the highest one ever, but, like,
that's true, and that's what
someday.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He has a podcast, so now and a popular podcast at that. So now Joe Rogan can go anywhere in this country and sell out, and that's
probably anywhere in the world, honestly. Let's be honest.
Anywhere in the world, just like that.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. Well, thank you again, EL Smith. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please like, subscribe. Please go check out EL stuff. It's going to be the links in the show notes below, or if you're listening in the podcast, just go in the podcast description. All those links will be in there as well. And we are so grateful for everyone that listens. Everyone check us out, and go check him out as well. And have a good one. Bye.